One of the advantages that Ophir Spiricon has in their beam gauge software is the ability to do averaging and summing. What that allows us to do is if we have a very weak signal on the camera, we can actually come into the software and we can take a very weak signal and we can start adding it right on top of each other. So we're going to start summing some frames here. And what we're doing is we're adding signal right on top of each other. That allows us to bring that very weak signal right up out of the noise floor. The more frames we sum, the more noise we're adding together as well. So an advantage that Ophir Spiricon has is the ability to do summing and averaging to be able to help cancel out that noise. So if we want to, we can do summing and averaging right on top of each other to be able to help stabilize that noise. But you can see our beam diameters really haven't changed much by adding signal together, by doing that summing. We have a very, very weak signal on the camera, but we can use summing to be able to help bring that right up out of the noise. By having a proper ultracal, we're not amplifying a lot of noise because the noise is already handled by ultracal. It's subtracted and we're getting a very good zero. And what you can see is in the perimeters, that noise is still very well balanced. If all you're doing is reference subtraction, you're not going to have this ability. The disadvantage to summing is you're going to actually lose frame rate. So instead of the camera running at 7.5 frames a second, 30 frames a second, if we're summing, we're going to slow down that camera because we're taking those frames together and adding them up. So if our camera is running at 30 frames a second, but we're summing 3 frames, our actual visual update is only going to be done at 10 frames per second.